Have you ever wanted a home that feels completely private? Not cut off from the world, but genuinely protected, like a personal sanctuary where you can breathe easy, relax deeply, and let the light pour in without ever wondering who might be watching. You know that feeling when you step into a typical modern house with walls of glass facing the street, and part of you stays on edge, even if it looks beautiful? We've all been guilty of chasing that open living dream only to end up feeling exposed and a little stressed. Most people don't even realize how much that low-level tension steals from their daily peace at home. Look, by the end of this video, you're going to discover 6 powerful design principles straight from one of the smartest homes I've studied, a rusted steel courtyard house tucked away in Austin, Texas. This place looks like an impenetrable block from the street, but inside, it flips everything you think you know about openness. These aren't flashy, expensive tricks. They're smart, intentional choices that solve the exact problem every designer and homeowner faces. How do you create a space that feels wide open, light-filled, and alive without giving up 1 ounce of privacy? Stick with me, because these 6 hacks will change how you see your own home forever. And you can start applying them right away, no big budget required. Here's the deal. From the outside, this house is brutally simple. Just a single rectangular volume wrapped in ribbed corten steel that catches the light like an ever-changing sculpture. No windows on the street side, not even a sliver. Yet the moment you step inside, you're wrapped in warm walnut, flooded with diffused sunlight from hidden courtyards, and surrounded by a calm that feels almost meditative. Let's break it down into the 6 principles that make it work so beautifully. Hack number 1, build a protective shell that gives your brain instant safety without feeling cold or closed off. You know how most homes try to connect to the neighborhood by throwing big windows everywhere? This house does the opposite, and it feels so much better for it. The facade is a solid, monolithic block with precise cutouts only for the entry and garage. That corten steel isn't flat. It's ribbed like an egg carton. So as the sun moves across the day, it creates shifting shadows and subtle texture that keeps the eye interested without any fussy ornament. Psychologically, this taps straight into our ancient need for refuge. Your brain's threat detection system relaxes the second there's no visual runway from the street straight into your living room. Before you had standard windows and curtains, you were always half aware of passers-by, creating that low-grade cortisol drip that makes home feel less like a haven. After this kind of shell, even scaled down with solid fencing, strategic cladding, or even just smart window placement on your own house, you walk up and feel protected, grounded, and quietly confident. Imagine pulling into your driveway and feeling that same sealed, safe sensation, instead of wondering if the neighbors can see what you're having for dinner. That's the power here. And they didn't stop at plain steel. A striking green mosaic panel breaks the otherwise monochromatic field with a moment of craftsmanship that softens the industrial edge. So the whole thing never reads like a giant shipping container. The gravel landscape around it mirrors that same simplicity, everything reduced to pure shape, texture, and tone. Even the cactus garden is deliberately utilitarian. They could have gone with showy flowers, but instead they chose something tough and architectural that says, we're not here to perform for the street, we're here to create real residence. You feel it the moment you look at the place. It's not shouting for attention, it's simply there, solid and serene. Hack number 2. Turn inward with a courtyard that becomes the emotional and literal heart of the entire home. Here's the thing. Openness doesn't have to mean opening to the outside world. Sometimes the smartest move is to pull everything toward a private center. This house sits on a tight lot, wedged between backyards and a narrow gravel laneway. Normal architects might have fought for outward views and ended up with a stressful exposed box. These designers chose 2 courtyards instead, punching them right into the rectangular volume so every main room faces inward. The larger one, anchored by a single olive tree, sits at the literal and emotional center. all the living spaces open to it through full-height, frameless glass that makes the indoor floor feel like it simply continues outside. Your brain lights up with biophilic calm because you get nature on your terms, protected, controlled, and always present. Before, if you lived in a typical tight urban home, you probably felt either boxed in or overly exposed, depending on how many windows faced the neighbors. That single-plane trap, where everything feels flat and dollhouse-like, steals the sense of depth. After this inward courtyard approach, the space feels taller, more expensive, and genuinely alive. Light bounces off the warm curtain walls, creating a soft amber glow that filters down through the tree canopy. You walk from room to room, and the greenery is always there, like a living piece of art that changes with the hours. At night, the whole courtyard transforms into a luminous core. Uplighting on the tree casts gentle shadows on the ceiling, and the metal walls almost look like they're glowing from within. It's theatrical in the best way. Nature becomes the lighting feature, not just a backdrop. Can you imagine sitting in your own living room with that same golden glow wrapping around you while the world outside stays completely unaware? That's the payoff. Privacy becomes luxurious. Stillness becomes powerful. Hack number 3. Create seamless material continuity, so inside and outside feel like one continuous grounded experience. Look at the kitchen here, and you'll see exactly what I mean. The dominant material is rich walnut, with continuous grain matching across all the cabinetry, giving the whole wall a seamless, furniture-like quality instead of the usual kitchen install look. The earthy green-gray backsplash tile adds just enough texture without shiny reflections, grounding the crisp white surfaces above it. That same palette quietly echoes the Corten steel outside. Warm rust tones inside, warm rust tones out. The big white waterfall island becomes the visual anchor, introducing cool geometry against all that wood warmth so the eye has somewhere calm to rest. Psychologically, this continuity tricks your brain into perceiving the home as larger and more cohesive. When materials repeat across boundaries, your mind stops seeing walls and starts feeling flow. Before, most homes have a jarring jump, cold tile inside, random brick outside, and the space feels chopped up, like separate boxes instead of a single serene whole. After this kind of thoughtful echo, you walk through, and everything just feels right, lived in, and expensive without trying too hard. The bench in the breakfast nook uses the same squared, legless bases that echo the home's linear architectural language. No clutter, no visual noise. Even the pale oak floors in the bedroom and the textured wall coverings keep the palette desaturated, so the courtyard greenery outside becomes the star color. Nothing fights for attention. It all supports the quiet confidence of the place. Hack number 4. Master indirect light and glass placement to flood small spaces without ever compromising privacy. This house is technically an accessory dwelling unit with strict size limits. Only about 1,100 square feet of interior space and a tiny garage allowance. Yet it never feels small. Why? Because every drop of daylight is choreographed. 0 exterior windows on the street side. Instead, light enters through the courtyards from above, bounces off the ribbed curtain, and diffuses into every room with this incredibly calm, even glow. The frameless glass edges make the floor plane continue straight out, so your eye reads the space as endless. In the living room, wedged between the 2 courtyards, light comes from multiple angles, yet you're still completely shielded. Here's where brain science gets fun. Our visual system loves prospect and refuge at the same time, seeing far while feeling safe. This design delivers both. Before, you probably had rooms that relied on direct street-facing windows and ended up with harsh glare, hot spots, and that nagging sense that anyone could look straight in. After this controlled light strategy, the home feels brighter than houses twice its size, but calmer too. The white sofa fabric reflects that soft light deep into the corners. Horizontal lines of built-in shelving match windowsill heights, so the eye runs uninterrupted across the room, creating visual runways that make the space feel wider. Even the bathroom gets bathed in the same courtyard light, turning what could have been a dark jewel box into a tranquil, meditative space with its dark mosaic tile and bamboo garden view. You never feel like you're sacrificing daylight for privacy. You're actually getting better light because it's intentional. Hack number 5. Use restrained landscaping and precise detailing to create quiet order that feels human, not sterile. The gravel laneway, the cactus punctuation, the rhythmic rows of grasses and black river stones around the courtyard. None of it screams for attention. Yet every choice reinforces the home's philosophy. They could have gone lush and busy. Instead, they chose utilitarian beauty that mirrors the architecture. Inside, the same restraint shows up in the built-in shelving that integrates lighting, storage, and rhythm in one clean vertical plane. The desk in the master bedroom lines up perfectly with the courtyard doorway, so your eye is gently pulled outward while you work, visually enlarging the room without adding square footage. This is where the home avoids the dollhouse effect that plagues so many modern interiors. Before, you might have filled tight spaces with too many patterns, too many objects, too much visual noise, trying to make them feel bigger. The result? Overwhelm and a cheap, cluttered vibe. After these deliberate choices, the proportions do the heavy lifting. The sectional in the living room wraps the corner to follow the glass perimeter. The rug and pillows add just enough earthy color. Washed out reds and blues that feel natural, never jarring. The art piece on the wall quietly repeats the rust and green exterior palette. Everything feels balanced, ordered, and alive with humanity, because the textures, walnut grain, matte tile, soft fabrics, add warmth, while the geometry keeps everything calm. You walk in and your shoulders drop. That's the power of restraint done right. Hack number 6, design for day-to-night transformation, so the home feels alive around the clock and rewards the way you actually live. By day, the courtyards capture and diffuse sunlight. By night, the same spaces emit light. Uplighting turns the olive tree into a glowing canopy. The curtain walls reflect warm golden tones back inward, and the whole interior becomes part of the lighting composition. The courtyard feels like a private lantern at the center of the house. In the kitchen, that white island casts a soft glow, perfect for winding down with a glass of wine. In the bedroom, the desaturated neutrals let the outside greenery remain the focal point even after dark. Psychologically, this shift keeps the home feeling dynamic and cared for, never flat or lifeless. Before, many homes go dead at sunset. Harsh overhead lights, dark corners, that hotel room at night, feeling that makes you want to escape to the couch with the TV on. After this kind of thoughtful transition, you actually look forward to evening, because the space evolves with you. It's theatrical without being theatrical. Nature and architecture work together as the lighting designer. You sit in the living room, surrounded by that burnished glow, and realize the home isn't just sheltering you, it's performing for you, quietly, intentionally, beautifully. So here we are at the end. Stop chasing the idea of openness. That means exposing everything to the world. Start chasing residence, the deep, grounded feeling of a home that protects you while still letting you breathe. This rusted steel courtyard house proves that privacy can be luxurious, that stillness can be powerful, and that small spaces can feel infinite when you turn inward instead of outward. It isn't about scale, it's about intention. And when you get the intention right, the rest falls into place with quiet confidence. If you loved seeing how these 6 principles come together in real life, you're going to want to watch the next video up here where I break down why a 500 square foot New York apartment feels so surprisingly huge. I'll see you there. Thanks for spending this time with me. Your home is about to feel a whole lot better.